Hello and welcome back. In this video quickly we are going to create the delete gig method. So when we delete or when a seller deletes a gig, we want to remove it from MongoDB and then also remove it from Elasticsearch. And then remember that we also need to decrement the total gigs value by 1. Okay, so I'll copy this create gig method because we are going to reuse some things from this method. I'll call this delete. Now for this we only need the gig ID of type string, and we need the seller ID of type string. Now it's going to return void. Okay, this is going to return void. Now the method we want to use is simple. We only want to use the delete one, so I'll say await gig model dot delete one, and we want to delete dot exec. Okay, so we want to delete a document where the ID underscore ID matches gig ID. Okay, so we delete the document from MongoDB, and then we need to publish a message. So let me copy all of this. I don't need the return. Let me copy all of these out. I don't need this if command. I don't need the data. Okay, so we need to publish a message. The same, we publish this exchange. We use the same routing key and we use the same type. Okay, so we use the same type, updates gig count. And now for the gig seller ID, I will just use this here, seller ID. Okay, and now for the count, because we want to reduce the total gigs for that user by 1, so I'll send this as -1. Okay, so I'll send this count as -1. So it's going to reduce the total gigs. So if the user has 2 gigs and they delete 1, then we need to reduce that count by 1. Okay, and then details sent to user service. And then lastly, here is the method we will need to use, delete indexed data. And then we pass the index name, which is gigs, and the ID is going to be gig ID. Okay, so this is how the method looks. Okay, so we use this method to delete a particular gig. Okay, let's add one. I think we're going to need about 3 or 2 update methods. So let's just add one of the update methods as well. Okay, so the method is going to be to update a particular gig. Okay, async, and then here we need the gig ID of type string. We need the gig data of type iSeller gig. Okay, and then here we are going to return the updated document, iSeller gig. Okay, now for this, since we want to update in MongoDB first, we are going to use the find one and update. Remember the find one and update, you can use it to update a document and then return the document. If you don't pass the new property, it will return the old document. If you pass the new property set to true, it will return the updated document. Okay, so I'll say const, I'll call this documents of type iSeller gig equal to await gig model dot find one and updates. Okay, now this find one and updates takes in some properties. I'll pass exec right here. Okay, now I'll pass in here, what do I want to update? I want to update the document that matches this gig ID. So where the ID matches gig ID. And then here I'm going to paste the properties we want to update. We are going to use the set operator. So remember, if you want to update a field, if you want to update a particular field using MongoDB, you can use the set operator, and then I'll paste it here. Okay, not everything will need to update. So these are just the properties. We don't need to update the username. We don't need to update the email. If we go to gig model, there are properties we don't want to update. Okay, so the only ones we want to update are the ones I'm passing right here, like the title, description, categories, subcategories, tags, price, cover image, expected delivery, basic title, and basic description. Okay, and now once we have that, we need to add another object here, and I'll set new to true. The reason why I'm adding this new is so that it will return the new updated document. If you don't have this, the find one and update will return the old document before it was updated. Okay, so I want the new document. That is why I'm adding this new property. And then here I can just do a check. I'll say if documents. So if we have the document, then we need to update. We need to update Elasticsearch. So we need this method, update index document. But remember, we don't want to update. Remember that MongoDB will, or Mongoose will return the document with this underscore property. We don't need it. So we need to do the same thing we did here. So copy this. Okay, so we first convert to JSON. Okay, so we convert to JSON, and then here I'll call await updates indexed data. I'll pass in the gig index name, and then the document dot underscore ID, and then I'll pass in the data we want to update with. Okay, so what's Elasticsearch will do, it will look for any document that matches this ID, and then replace the document field with, or update the properties that matches this data object we are passing right here. And then I will return the updated document. Okay, I'll return the updated document right here. And I think we're having this issue. I think I need to cast this iSeller gig. Okay, so just go ahead and cast, and then let me add this here. Okay, so we can export this method. So now we've created the delete gig method, the update gig method. Also, I can duplicate this function. I want to be able to, or the user should be able to update the active properties. Remember, we have the active property, this property right here. So we want the user to be able to set it either to true or false. So I'll call this update active gig prop. Okay, I can export this as well. We don't need all of these properties. I only need one, which is the active. So this function will take in the gig ID and the active property, which will be of type Boolean. Okay, so it's going to be a Boolean. Let me call it gig active. Okay, so whatever it is, I'll paste it right here. I'm using find one and updates, and then it's also returning the iSeller gig. Okay, and then here also we do the same thing. So if we want to update a particular gig, we set this property to true, or we set it to false. If it is true, the user can set it to false. If it is false, the user can set it to true as well. And then we update and return the document. Okay, so I'll stop here. We have one more update method we're going to add, and we'll do that in the next video.